You're here now. There's nothing you need to do. Nothing you need to fix. You don't have to listen carefully. Just let the sound stay with you. This is Noxa rest. You can slow down now. At night, the pace of everything begins to change. The world does not stop, but it softens. Lights feel dimmer. Sounds feel farther away. The pressure of the day slowly loosens. Expectations begin to fade. There is nothing urgent anymore. Nothing asking for an immediate response. In this absence of demand, the mind finally notices itself. Thoughts do not arrive suddenly. They drift in slowly. Old conversations return without warning. Not loudly, but gently. A phrase you remember clearly, and another that barely registered at the time. These memories do not appear randomly. They surface because there is finally space. During the day, attention is pulled outward. It follows movement, sound, and responsibility. There is little room to pause. Everything keeps moving forward. But now, forward motion slows, and awareness turns inward. This inward turn is not intentional. It happens naturally as the nervous system relaxes. The brain begins to review unfinished patterns, especially those involving other people. Unclear conversations feel incomplete, and the brain seeks resolution instinctively. It remembers tone of voice, small pauses, facial expressions, not because they matter now, but because they once carried meaning. Understanding others helped reduce uncertainty, and uncertainty once felt unsafe. So the mind learned to replay experiences, quietly reviewing what happened. This replaying is not meant to disturb rest. It is meant to create reassurance. At night, reassurance feels more important, because consciousness is beginning to fade. The mind gathers unfinished moments carefully, as if organizing them before sleep. In this state, memories feel closer, more detailed than earlier in the day, not because they changed, but because the mind is tired. A tired mind stretches time and magnifies meaning. Small interactions feel larger. Neutral moments feel emotional. The mind begins to circle familiar thoughts, not aggressively, but persistently, again and again. If this feels familiar, nothing is wrong. This is not failure. It is not weakness. It is a tired mind seeking comfort. In the quiet of night, you are not required to respond to these thoughts. You do not need to engage with them. Thoughts can exist without solutions. They do not need answers right now. They pass through awareness gently, without being followed, like distant sounds outside a window. Present, but not demanding attention. Awareness can remain soft, without focusing on detail. The body begins to respond naturally. Muscles release tension slowly. Breathing deepens without effort. The rhythm becomes steady. The mind does not need to guide this process. It only needs to allow it. As relaxation deepens, perception shifts. Thoughts lose intensity. They feel less personal, less urgent. The space between thoughts widens. Silence becomes more noticeable. But this silence is not empty. It is simply open. Open space allows rest to enter. Without resistance, the mind continues to slow, moment by moment. Awareness does not need direction. It can rest on its own. There is nothing to solve here, nothing to prepare for, only the gradual softening of attention and the gentle continuation of rest. As the night continues to deepen, the body begins to feel heavier. Movement slows without effort. Stillness becomes easier to maintain. The mind notices this change gradually. It does not resist it at first. Thoughts still appear, but they arrive with less urgency. They no longer push forward. They simply pass through awareness. This is the point where time begins to feel different. Moments stretch gently. There is no clear beginning or end, only a slow unfolding. The brain reduces its scanning. It stops searching for new input. Attention no longer jumps from thought to thought. It rests more easily. Memories lose their sharpness. Edges begin to blur. Details matter less than they did before. Context softens. The mind no longer needs to label experiences. It allows them to exist without definition. This state is unfamiliar at first, but not uncomfortable. It is simply quieter, more spacious. Breathing settles into a slower rhythm. Each breath arrives without effort. The chest rises and falls naturally. There is nothing to control. With each breath, tension releases subtly. Shoulders soften. Jaw relaxes. Hands feel warmer. The nervous system recognizes safety and allows deeper rest. Thoughts appear further apart now. Silence grows between them. This silence does not demand attention. It simply surrounds awareness. The mind stops narrating experience. Words lose importance. Awareness becomes less verbal, more sensory. Weight against the surface beneath you. Temperature of the air. Small sensations anchor attention gently, without effort. There is no need to think about these sensations. They are simply present. The mind no longer evaluates. It observes without judgment. In this state, memories no longer pull attention. They drift like distant echoes. The brain releases its need to review. Control loosens naturally. Nothing needs to be stored. Nothing needs to be resolved. The body continues to settle downward. Heaviness increases gradually. Limbs feel less defined. Boundaries soften. Awareness spreads evenly, without focus. This is not sleep yet, but it is the doorway, the space just before sleep, where effort dissolves. Thoughts become quieter, less distinct. They no longer form complete sentences. They fragment gently. Meaning fades into sensation. Language gives way to feeling. The mind does not need to follow anything now. It can rest without direction. Attention drifts naturally, without purpose. There is nothing to listen for, nothing to anticipate. Silence grows deeper, more familiar. The body recognizes this state and responds instinctively. Heart rate slows subtly. Muscles remain relaxed. The nervous system shifts fully toward rest. Without instruction, awareness becomes softer still, less defined. The sense of time continues to dissolve. Moments blend together. There is no separation between one breath and the next, only continuation. The mind no longer searches for meaning. It simply exists. This existence requires no effort, no attention. Thoughts fade further into the background until they are barely noticeable. Silence is no longer something to notice. It becomes the environment. The body remains supported, held by the surface beneath it. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to do, only the gentle continuation of slowing and the quiet preparation for sleep. As the night moves forward, awareness continues to lose its sharpness. The sense of being alert softens. There is less effort to stay present. The mind no longer tries to organize experience. It allows sensations to arrive and leave freely. Thoughts appear only briefly now. They do not stay long enough to form meaning. One sensation replaces another. Without connection, the mind stops linking moments together. There is no story unfolding, only a gentle flow of experience. The body feels heavier than before, as if sinking slightly deeper. Support beneath you becomes more noticeable, holding without pressure. There is no need to adjust position. Stillness feels natural. The nervous system recognizes this state and deepens it automatically. Breathing becomes slower still, longer pauses between breaths. Each breath arrives quietly and leaves without effort. The mind follows this rhythm without intention. Attention drifts with the breath. There is no need to observe it closely. It happens on its own. Awareness begins to spread, no longer centered in one place. The edges of the body feel less defined. Boundaries soften further. Hands feel distant. Feet feel warm and indistinct. The body is no longer something to manage. It simply exists. The mind no longer checks for thoughts. It allows silence to remain. Silence no longer feels empty. It feels full and steady. This is the quiet where effort disappears, where attention no longer needs direction. Thoughts, if they appear, are faint, like distant echoes. They do not carry emotion. They do not carry urgency. They fade before awareness can follow, leaving no trace. Time begins to lose structure. There is no sense of progression. Moments do not feel separate. They blend together softly. The mind stops counting, stops anticipating. There is no expectation of what comes next, only the present state. This state feels stable, self-sustaining. The body remains relaxed, without needing correction. Muscles stay loose, joints feel supported. The nervous system remains in rest mode, undisturbed. Awareness grows quieter still, almost transparent. The sense of listening fades. There is no effort to hear. Sound becomes part of the background, not separate from silence. The mind does not react to sensation. It allows it to pass unnoticed. This is not sleep yet, but it is very close. The threshold where awareness gently dissolves, without decision. There is no moment where this must happen. It unfolds naturally. The mind does not need to participate. It can let go completely. There is no task remaining, no focus required. Everything necessary has already happened. Nothing more is needed. The body continues resting deeply. The mind follows without resistance. Awareness becomes softer than before, almost absent, holding everything, without effort. Awareness continues to thin, like mist slowly fading. There is no longer a clear sense of focus. Nothing is being followed. The mind does not search anymore. It no longer looks for meaning. Thoughts, if they appear, are incomplete. They dissolve before forming. There is no effort to stay present. Presence happens on its own. The body feels fully supported, held without pressure. Weight settles evenly. There is no urge to move. Stillness feels natural now, comfortable. Breathing continues quietly, slow and steady. There is no attention on it. It happens without notice. The nervous system remains deeply relaxed. Signals are minimal. Muscles stay loose. No tension returns. The mind no longer distinguishes sensations. Everything blends softly. Sound and silence feel the same, part of the same space. There is no reaction to sound, no interpretation. Awareness does not respond. It simply allows. Time no longer feels linear. There is no before or after. Moments do not pass. They merge. The sense of now becomes vague, undefined. There is no expectation of sleep, no intention to fall asleep. Sleep does not need to be reached. It arrives on its own. The mind no longer resists. There is nothing left to hold. Control has already loosened. Without effort. Nothing is being monitored. Nothing is being checked. Awareness continues to fade gently, like a dimming light. There is no clear boundary between thought and rest. They overlap. Language no longer forms clearly. Words lose structure. Meaning dissolves into sensation, then into quiet. The body remains still, completely at ease. There is no discomfort, no adjustment needed. The nervous system stays calm, stable. Awareness becomes very light now, almost absent. There is no need to listen, no need to pay attention. Everything important has already settled. Nothing remains unfinished. Rest deepens naturally, without instruction. The mind releases its last effort, gently. There is no moment of transition, no signal. Sleep blends into awareness quietly, unnoticed. There is no separation anymore, only rest, only quiet continuation, without edges, without thought, without direction. Nothing more is required, nothing at all. You don't need to listen anymore. Let the words fade. If sleep comes, let it come. This is Noxa rest. Rest now.